We will begin with the National Cosmetology Practical Examination Review. First off, by the work area and client preparation and setup of supplies. At State Board, you will have 15 minutes to complete this section. You will prepare your work area for your client, beginning with taking out the hand sanitizer, closing the duffel bag up, and disinfecting your hands. We will then take out the 3 trash bags, one labeled trash, one labeled linen, and the last one labeled soil. We will now take our citrus and a clean towel to disinfect our work area. Before going into your duffel bag, you have to disinfect your hands like we just did. And every time we throw something away, we also disinfect our hands. We spray the citrus, we clean out with a towel. We lift all the bottles to be able to disinfect. We throw the towel in the linen bag. We disinfect our hands. And we now take out our clean towels to put on our station. Every time you take something out, we have to close the duffel bag. Taking a clean towel out and setting it up for our station. We will now take our station supplies out, which are our universal supplies. In this bag, we must have a water bottle, protective cream, first aid kit, and 2 kitty capes. We throw the bag in the trash and we disinfect our hands. And that is how you set up for the practical examination. The second section of this examination is thermal curling. You will have 10 minutes to complete this section at State Board. You will perform thermal curling. You will form 2 curls on top of the head and 2 curls on one side of the head. A complete curl must be formed from base to ends. Like I said, you will have 10 minutes to complete this section, and they will be repeating each indication every time they finish the instructions. Here we will begin by disinfecting our hands and taking our thermal curling bag out. When we take it out, we will close the bag back up. In this bag, we should have our 3/4 of an inch curling iron, our comb out cape, Every time we throw something out, we disinfect our hands. Three Sanics, 2 all-purpose combs, and 3 to 5 butterfly clips. Also 1 small metal clip. We throw the bags in the trash. We disinfect our hands. And we begin by picking her hair up with a butterfly clamp. Draping our model. With a Sanic and our comb out cape. Here, as you can tell, the comb out cape cannot touch the neck or cannot touch the skin of our model. Once we have put it on, we are going to go ahead and fold the Sanic. And at this time, we can go ahead and connect our curling iron. You have to make sure that the curling iron is on, so it can go ahead and start heating up. We'll have a Sanic on top of the barrel or on top of the handle to indicate that we will be checking our temperature. We will now create 3 or 5 sections as you desire. Making the sections 2.5 inches wide and 3 inches long. We will create the section on the side of the head where we will be working on, following the line from the first section. We will hold it with a clamp. And hold the rest of the hair to make the third section. Now we are going to go ahead and remove the bangs away from the sections so we can go ahead and prepare to start curling the hair. From one end to the other. We will clamp it to the side with a butterfly clamp. Or a metal clip. And we will begin doing the subsections 3/4 of an inch, the size of the barrel. We are going to go ahead and make sure that the line is even and straight to create a clean subsection. We are going to go ahead and grab our sanic next to us. And we are going to go ahead and check the temperature of our curling iron. If it's too hot, the sanic will get brown. Now we can go ahead and set our comb down, throw our sanic away, and disinfect our hands. Now we will begin curling the hair. We are going to go ahead and lift our subsection of hair that we created. Grab our curling iron. We are going to put the stand down. And we are going to go ahead and begin the curl by first off creating a base for the curl. Opening and closing, lifting a little bit with the curling iron, and going back to base. Remember, we do have to work on base. Opening and closing. So we can go ahead and hear the clicking sound. Making sure that the end is inside our curling iron. Opening and closing. To hear that clicking sound. We're going to go ahead and put our comb under the curling iron to not burn our model. Opening and closing and sliding the curling iron out. Our curl must be well formed, very smooth, and we should be able to see through it. If you move to the side, you should be seeing through the curl. So we will now continue with our last curl. Again, 3/4 of an inch because it's the size of the barrel. We comb it out, and if we have to, we can go ahead and turn the mannequin around, your model, so you can actually work comfortably. We comb the hair out, and when we're ready, we are going to go ahead and grab our curling iron, put our stand down, and begin with the curl, starting on base. Opening and closing the barrel to hear that clicking sound. And working to the ends. If it didn't come out the first time, we will go ahead and redo it. So it's completely fine if you still have time. Working from base to ends. Opening and closing and sliding the barrel out to finish the curl. Putting our stand up, placing the curling iron down, and we can go ahead and throw the comb in our soil bag and disinfecting our hands. The final appearance of the curl, we should be seeing through the curl. As you can tell in all 4 curls, they're very smooth. And if the ends are nicely curled, you can see through the curls. The third section of this examination is the hair cutting section. At State Board, you will have 30 minutes to complete this section. You will perform a haircut, and you will complete a basic layered haircut using razor and shears. You will also cut at least 1 inch of hair throughout the haircut. We will begin by disinfecting our hands, tossing everything that we used for thermal curling in the bags where they correspond. Reusable implements such as butterflies, combs go in the soil bag. The Sanics go in the trash because they are not reusable. And the cape goes in the linen bag. Every time we throw something away, we have to disinfect our hands. And we're also going to be taking the metal clips from the hair, if they have any, and tossing it in soil. Disinfecting our hands. And we are going to take out the hair cutting bag from our duffel bag. Closing it back up and placing them on our station. In this bag, we should have at least 2 or 3 Sanics. Our hair shaper and an extra blade. our shears, six butterfly clamps, and two multi-purpose combs. We throw the bag in the trash and we disinfect our hands. Hold the hair with a butterfly clamp. And we will begin draping her with a sanic and a kitty cape. If you notice here, we didn't throw our curling iron away just because it's too hot and it can melt the rest of our things, but we can throw it out once we are finished with the haircut and clean out everything from our haircut section. We don't touch the skin with the kitty cape, and we fold our sanics. And we can go ahead and start wetting the hair after we detangle the hair. So we are going to comb the hair to detangle it. And then we are going to go ahead and wet the hair. It has to be completely wet. Once it is completely wet, we are going to go ahead and create 5 sections. We will create 3 sections on top of the head and 2 sections in the back of the head. The center section can be 3 inches by 3 inches. And we're going to make sure that the sections are completely clean, so we can make a clean haircut. On the sides, we are going to go ahead and connect to the first section. Again, to create that clean section. The section is going to be a little bit more behind the ear, just so we won't create a gap. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Now we are on the back side. We will be creating 2 sections through the center to make a section on the left and on the right. Now that we have created 5 sections, we are going to go ahead and create subsections of 1 inch on the back side of the head on both sections. We have to make sure it is 1 inch so we can go ahead and see our guide when we continue with our second subsection. Now that we have both subsections on both sides, we are going to make sure that the hair is completely wet. And we are going to cut with the razor at a 0-degree angle. The first subsection of 1 inch, we are going to make sure that the hair is completely wet. And we are going to go ahead and begin at a 0-degree angle with the razor. We are going to go ahead and begin at the center part of both subsections, just so we can go ahead and have our guide. Remember, 0-degree angle, straight to the floor. Approximately 1 inch, and then we will continue to the sides, either the left or the right. Following our guide that we created in the center. And we have to make sure that we palm our razor correctly, so we won't cut more than what we have to. We will now continue with one subsection only on one side of 1 inch. And this subsection is going to be cut also with the razor, but at a 45-degree angle. We are going to create subsections of 1 inch vertically. Comb it out to a 45-degree angle. Let our guide fall and cut with a razor. Make sure when you are combing the hair, you are palming your razor. And we will continue. Holding the hair at a 45-degree angle and cutting with the razor. Once we have finished with this subsection, we continue with the other side, doing the same thing. Creating a subsection of 1 inch. And grabbing our 0 as a guide to cut at a 45-degree angle. Vertical subsections, comb out to a 45-degree angle, letting our guide fall and cutting at a 45-degree angle with the razor. And we continue doing the same thing at a 45-degree angle with this subsection. Once we have finished with both sides, we will grab another subsection, which is our third subsection of 1 inch on only one side. This subsection will be cut at a 90-degree angle with the razor. We will have our guide, which is our 45-degree angle. Let it drop, and we're going to go ahead and cut. Letting our guide fall and cutting with the razor. Once we have finished with that side, we continue with the other side. And we have to make sure that the hair is completely wet. Once we have finished with that side, we will create another subsection of 1 inch. This other subsection of 1 inch is going to be cut at a 90-degree angle, and this subsection will be cut with shears, so we can let the blade down. Make sure that you hold the shears correctly. And we will begin cutting. Grabbing our guide from the 90-degree angle that we just cut with the razor. And we will cut at a 90-degree angle. Make sure you palm your shears when you are combing. And we will do the same thing on the other side. At State Board, they could possibly be looking at the subsections being clean, demonstrating safe use of razor, and demonstrating safe use of shears. So that's why it's very important to close your shears every time you are combing. The rest of the haircut will be done cutting with your fingers parallel to the head. Once we have finished cutting the basic layered haircut, we are going to go ahead and take a step back. Once the examiner has acknowledged that you have finished, he will come up to you and he will be checking your haircut. So what you are going to do is disinfect your hands and hand him the comb. So what we are going to do is check it ourselves. We are going to go ahead and check the haircut from the bottom to the top, making sure that we have followed our guide throughout the whole haircut. Like I said, we will begin at the very bottom and make our way to the top. We will be checking the mohawk part of the head, and that's where we will begin, making sure that we have followed our guide, and we will continue checking it through the top. So our 45-degree angle is good. We will continue with our 90-degree angle. We have followed our guide, so we continue. A little bit higher. Perfect. So we will go ahead and continue to the crown area. And to the top of the head. We will go a little bit forward, grabbing a little piece from both sides. And a little bit more forward. Just remember that we do end our haircut with our fingers parallel to the head. Nicely done. We continue with the last section at the very front. Perfect. Now our sideburns have to be at the same level. So we will be grabbing a small piece from both sides, bringing it to the front, making sure they are at the same level. Nicely done. And that is the end of the hair cutting examination. Now what we are going to go ahead and do is work area and the new client preparation and setup of supplies. So you will be breaking down your work area and dispose of supplies used in the previous section of this examination. So now what we are going to do is disinfect our hands and be throwing our implements in the soil bag that are reusable, disinfecting our hands every time we throw something away, and undraping our model. Since our curling iron is cold now, we can go ahead and throw that in a soil bag also. They will also tell you individually to pick up only the hair from the floor that you have cut using a dustpan and a brush. Once you have picked it up, you will be passing it to the next person. And we continue putting our station up. So we disinfect our hands. And throw our things where they correspond. And disinfecting our hands. So now what we are going to do is spray the citrus on our station to disinfect for our new client. With a clean towel, we are going to go ahead and wipe it out. We are going to go ahead and lift our supplies to be able to disinfect. Our towel will go in the linen bag. We are going to disinfect our hands and put a new towel for our station. Setting our station up one more time with our universal supplies. And that is how you prepare for a work area and new clients. Our fifth section of this examination will be chemical waving. At State Board, you will have 20 minutes to complete this section, and you will perform a chemical waving just like I said. You will wrap the entire center back section of the head from crown to nape. Once you are finished wrapping, please step back and do nothing until the next verbal instructions are given. So again, you do have 20 minutes. So what we are going to go ahead and begin doing is disinfecting our hands and taking the chemical waving bag out of our duffel bag and closing the duffel bag up again. What we must have in this bag is clean cotton and end wraps, 15 purple perm rods, 10 butterfly clamps, and a pair of gloves, a bottle solution, 2 multi-purpose combs and 2 rat tail combs, And we can go ahead and throw the bag out. We disinfect our hands, and we'll begin by holding the hair with a butterfly clamp and begin draping our client with a towel, plastic kitty cape, towel, and towel, just because it is a chemical. We will put the towel from back to front. Our cape, it can either go back to front or front to back. And 2 towels over. Every time we take a towel out, we have to go ahead and close it back up. We will grab the clean towel bag and throw it in the trash and disinfect our hands. Now we will begin the demonstration by first wetting the hair. And creating 9 quadrants or 9 sections. You can go ahead and eyeball it, or you can go ahead and grab a perm rod and put it on the forehead so you can measure the size. Throw the bag away, disinfect your hands, and continue. We will hold the first section with a butterfly clamp. And create the 2 sections on the sides. We will then create the 6 sections on the back part of the head, creating a line through the center from ear to ear, so a horizontal line. Holding the middle part with a butterfly to be able to hold the bottom part with a butterfly clamp also. We will let go of the center and create 3 sections connecting with the top part. Hold every section with butterfly clamps. And now we will connect the bottom part with the center parts. Now that we have created our 9 sections, we will go ahead and begin wrapping the hair from crown to nape and the center parts. So we will prepare our perm rods and our end wraps, and we will be doing the subsections with a rat tail comb. Make sure the perm rods are untangled. So you can do the subsections either with the multi-purpose comb or the rat tail comb, depending on how you are most comfortable with. The subsection has to be as wide as a perm rod. We're going to go ahead and comb the hair up. Make sure it's well combed. We're going to grab an end wrap and wrap the hair, making sure that the hair is well distributed. Making sure that the hair is well distributed, well combed. on the end wrap. You can either do the booking method or you can do any other method that you were taught to do. Make sure that the ends are inside the end wrap, and you can go ahead and begin wrapping with a perm rod. Make sure you never let go of the comb. You also have to make sure that the rubber band is not twisted. And we continue doing the same thing. Make sure that everything is the same from crown to nape, and you only have to wrap the center 2 sections. Doing the same thing. The ends are inside the end wrap and rolling the hair. Make sure that you guys are very consistent with the subsections. And you also have to make sure that the rubber bands are not twisted. Now what we are going to go ahead and do is place the comb down, disinfect our hands, and put a pair of gloves on. We will now apply cream protector on the outline of the hair all around the head. On all of the outline. The forehead, around the ears, in the back on the sides, and on the nape area. It's very important on the nape area. Now we will be applying the cotton also all around the head, and you do have to wrap it twice. And yes, you can disinfect your hands even if you have gloves on. So with the cotton, wrap twice around the head on the outline of the hair. You can start from front to back, or you can do it from back to front. That doesn't really matter as long as you have the cotton around the outline of the head. The examiner will come up to you and they will ask you to demonstrate saturation with a mock solution bottle. You have to apply the solution without the bottle touching the hair. And you have to completely saturate it. One on top, one in the center, and one at the bottom. So that's why you don't want the perm rods too tight, so you can go ahead and be able to twist it. So one on the top, two at the center, and three at the bottom. And you have to do it throughout the whole head. You can tilt the head down also so you can work comfortably. Once you have finished, you will demonstrate a test curl. So we will open up a perm rod, unwrap it 2 times or 2.5 times, so we can go ahead and see the S form or the S shape. And we will wrap it back again. They will then also ask you to please remove 1 rod from the hair. So you will remove 1 rod from the hair, but you will keep the end wrap on the hair. So you will not remove the end wrap. Making sure that the ends are inside the wrap. Beautiful. They will also give you instructions to not remove the rest of the perm rods unless you are instructed by the proctor. And this is the end of the chemical waving. Once everyone has finished, they will ask all of you to remove all remaining rods from the head and create 5 sections for the remaining chemical service. So again, you will have 5 minutes. You will be removing everything from chemical waving and tossing them into the bags corresponding, either linen, soil, or trash. We can now go ahead and remove all the perm rods, but first we are going to go ahead and disinfect our hands. Or you can go ahead and throw your gloves away, disinfect your hands, and start removing all the rods. You can go ahead and hold the perm rod in one hand and the end wraps in the other, so you won't have to be disinfecting your hands so often. And you can also hold them by the rubber band so you can have more space in your hand. The perm rods will go in the soil and the end wraps in the trash. Disinfect our hands, and we can also go ahead and remove all of our butterfly clamps and our cotton and toss them in the bag where they correspond. The butterflies in the soil and the cotton in the trash. Once you have done that, you can go ahead and disinfect your hands. If there's any cotton on the forehead, we will also remove that. Or any place on where we have our cotton. We can also remove one towel. And that'll leave us with one towel, cape, and towel. And we can go ahead and start taking everything out of the chemical service that we have done. Like the cotton, the perm rods, the end wraps, the combs. The mock solution bottle and our gloves. We disinfect our hands, and we can take out the chemicals bag. The sixth section of this examination is the predisposition test and strand test with simulated product. So here we are going to go ahead and have 10 minutes. The first thing that we're going to go ahead and do is disinfect our hands and go inside our duffel bag to get our chemicals bag. Every time we take something out, we have to close the duffel bag again. In our chemicals bag, we should have 4 color brushes, we should also have 2 rat tail combs and 2 multi-purpose combs, 6 butterfly clamps, 4 or 5 pairs of gloves, foil, and a plastic cap. The patch test container with a cotton swab, and 4 other containers that have to be labeled color, relaxer, lightener, and strand test, and also a cleansing wipe. We will disinfect our hands, and we will begin by creating 5 sections. Three sections on the front of the head and 2 sections on the back of the head. Every section must be held with a butterfly clamp, and we continue creating the 2 sections on the sides. And the 2 sections on the back. We have created our 5 sections. Now we will disinfect our hands and put a pair of gloves on. Since we do have our hands clean, we can go ahead and go back to our duffel bag and take out clean towels. Set them to the side. Disinfect our hands, and now we can go ahead and apply protective cream all around the outline of the hair. We will now perform the predisposition test and strand test for permanent hair color. So we will be demonstrating the predisposition test behind the ear. So first we have to go ahead and clean the area with the cleansing wipe. And it does have to be behind the ear, not on the neck. So behind the ear. Toss that in the trash, disinfect our hands, and we will apply our predisposition test, which is our patch test container. You will apply it with a cotton swab. We can close the container, put it in our soil bag, and the cotton swab in the trash bag. We disinfect our hands. And we will now perform our strand test. Before we do our subsection, we're going to prepare our foil. Make sure it is not folded. Now we can go ahead and create our first subsection. And the first subsection has to be of 1/8 of an inch. So it has to be very thin. So we will be demonstrating the strand test process on this single subsection of hair. Open our strand test container. And we will cover our strand test with a foil. This one will be applied from roots to ends, making sure everything is completely saturated. Fold it in half and then fold the sides. We can go ahead and close the strand test container and put the strand test container and our color brush in the soil bag, both on the soil bag. We have now finished, but now we will go ahead and get a clean towel because we do have to demonstrate the procedure. Put it under the foil. Remove the foil and put it to the side. And cleanse that strand test with the towel. We will grab our towel and our foil and place the foil in the trash and our towel in linen and disinfect our hands. And we have demonstrated the predisposition test and strand test. Now we are on the 7th section of this examination, having to do with highlighting with foil, virgin application with simulated product. You will perform highlighting with foil, virgin application. You will place 4 foils on top of the head from the front hairline to the apex. We will also be using simulated highlighting product from the upper edge of foils to the ends. So first we are going to go ahead and remove our gloves from the previous section, disinfecting our hands and putting a new pair of gloves on. We will now begin applying protective cream on the outline of the hair all around the head. And now we can go ahead and begin applying the foils from the front hairline to the apex. And the subsections do have to be of 1/8 of an inch, so they have to be very ultimately thin. We will now apply the lining product from the very top of the foil to the ends. We will make sure it's very completely saturated. We will fold and then fold the sides. And we will continue with the next 3 foils the same way. We have finished our 4 foils, and this is the way it looks like. They have to be completely saturated, and that's what the examiner will also be checking. We will now continue with the hair color retouch. The hair color retouch will take 10 minutes. So now we can go ahead and remove our gloves from the previous section of this examination, disinfect our hands, and put a new pair of gloves on. Once we have put our gloves on, we are going to go ahead and apply protective cream on the outline of the hair. And the client has 1 inch of regrowth, so that's what we are going to put on the retouch. Simulated product of color on the regrowth. Remember, it's 1 inch. So we will go ahead and begin by outlining the quadrant or the section with the product. So 1 inch of the retouch all around. And we are going to go ahead and do subsections of 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch. Throughout the whole section in the back, only one section. Apply product only 1 inch. Subsections of 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch, so they're pretty thin. And we do the whole section. As you can see, we continue with the retouch of 1 inch throughout the whole head. And our subsections are visual because we did them very clean. And now we can just go ahead and bring the hair down, because either way you will be able to see the subsections. That is the end of the retouch section of this examination. And now we go ahead and continue with the relaxer section of this examination. So the first thing that we should be doing is removing our gloves from the previous section of this examination. We will disinfect our hands and put a new pair of gloves on. Once we have our gloves on, we are going to go ahead and apply protective cream on the outline of the hair through the whole head. We will perform a virgin hair relaxer application on one single subsection of hair. This is untimed because the examiner, we believe, will be next to you, and it will be done individually. They will ask you to please demonstrate the virgin relaxer application procedure. So what you are going to go ahead and do is open the relaxer container after we have remove the color container. So we're going to go ahead and close it. Put the container, the color container and the color brush inside the soil bag. Disinfect our hands. And now we may open the relaxer container. We are going to go ahead and apply the relaxer product on one single subsection of hair. And remember, this is a virgin application. So we do a subsection of 1/8 of an inch. So extremely thin. So we're going to make sure it's extremely thin. And we are going to apply the relaxer product 1/2 an inch out of the roots. So we do not touch the roots for 1/2 an inch. And we do not touch the ends for 1 inch. That's the way you apply. So now we can go ahead with our fingers, smooth it down to the ends. And now we can go ahead and apply on the roots too with the same product we have in our fingers. And that is the end of the relaxer section of this examination. You will demonstrate the blood exposure procedure. You will imagine the following scenario. During a service, you have sustained a minor cut to your index finger. The injury is such that you can continue with the service. Your work area or client has not been contaminated. Therefore, you are expected to demonstrate the proper procedure for a blood exposure. We will first off start with removing our gloves from our previous section and disinfecting our hands. Once we have disinfected our hands, we are going to go ahead and take out the blood exposure procedure bag from our duffel bag. Close it back up. Take it out. Throw the blood exposure bag in the trash and disinfect your hands again. Open the first aid kit and put a glove on the hand that is not injured. Open the small bag and place it to the side. Now we are going to go ahead and take an alcohol pad or a cleansing pad to clean the injury. You're going to clean the injured finger. Place the trash in the little bag. Put a Band-Aid on. Once we have put the Band-Aid on, we're going to go ahead and properly put in the glove on just to cover the injury. We are going to remove the glove from our non-injured hand, placing it inside the bag also. We're going to close the little bag and place it inside another bag. So this is the double bagging procedure. We are going to close it, throw it in the trash, disinfect your hands, and that's how we end the blood exposure procedure. At Stay Board, you will have 2 minutes to set up the supplies for the hair removal of the eyebrows by tweezing and using simulated soft wax section of this examination. You shall not proceed with any procedures until they verbally instruct you to. So we are going to go ahead and take the 2 minutes to remove our glove and our Band-Aid, disinfect our hands, and we are going to get rid of everything that we used in the previous 2 sections of this examination. Everything has to go where they correspond. We will also be putting a plastic cap on the head just to get the hair out of the way from the face. At this time, we will now go ahead and take out our hair removal bag from our duffel bag. And placing everything on our station. This bag contains a pair of gloves, cotton balls, antiseptic and post-depilation, It will also contain wax strips, popsicle sticks, a wax container, and 3 clean towels. You will perform hair removal of the eyebrows by tweezing and using simulated soft wax. You will demonstrate hair removal from one eyebrow by tweezing and the other by using soft wax. Like any other service, you will be expected to follow all client protection, safety, and infection control procedures, and you may not do anything until you are instructed to do so. First off, we are going to go ahead and disinfect our hands and make sure everything is on our station. We will throw the bags in the trash and disinfect our hands. Once we have disinfected our hands, we are going to go ahead and prepare our mannequin or our model by putting a towel in the back of the head, and you're going to be laying her down so you can put her on your station. Lay your model down, and we're also going to go ahead and put a towel on her chest or over her neck. We will disinfect our hands and put our gloves on. Once we have our gloves on, we are going to go ahead and clean one eyebrow with antiseptic and a cotton ball. Clean the eyebrow, throw the cotton ball in the trash and disinfect your hands. We're gonna grab a cotton ball and the tweezers. And we are going to go ahead and start removing the stray hairs. To tweeze the eyebrows. You should be pulling the eyebrows toward the direction that the hair grows and placing them on the cotton ball. Once we have finished, we will toss the tweezers in soil and the cotton ball in trash, disinfecting our hands, grabbing another cotton ball, and cleaning it again with antiseptic. That is the end of the hair removal of the eyebrows by tweezing. So now we go ahead and continue the hair removal of eyebrows using soft wax. First off, we are going to disinfect our hands, grab a cotton ball, and apply antiseptic to the eyebrow. We are going to clean the whole eyebrow, toss it in the trash, disinfect your hands, grab another cotton ball, a dry clean one, and dry the eyebrow. Toss it in the trash. And we are going to go ahead and test the temperature of the wax inside of our wrists. And removing it. We will throw the popsicle stick and the wax strip in the trash. And now we can go ahead and apply on the eyebrow. You're going to go ahead and apply it along the entire length of the eyebrow in the direction of the hair growth. And you're going to go ahead and remove it with the wax strip. You have to smooth the wax strip over the simulated soft wax. You have to hold the skin taut. And you're going to remove the wax strip in the opposite direction of the hair growth. You're going to go ahead and disinfect your hands. Apply antiseptic to the treated area or to the eyebrow that you just waxed. Toss the cotton ball in the trash when you are done and apply post-epilation. We're going to toss the cotton ball in the trash and disinfect our hands, and that is the end of the hair removal section. At Stapboard, you will have 2 minutes to break down your hair removal station and put your manicure station. We will begin by removing our gloves, disinfecting our hands, and placing everything that we use for our hair removal section in the bag where they correspond. Reusable things in soil, non-reusable supplies in trash, towels and linen, and if you do have clean towels inside the bags, you should be able to take them out, throw them in linen, and the bags in trash. Your mannequin can go inside the soil bag because later on you can disinfect and reuse. You disinfect your hands, and now you may take out your manicure supplies from our duffel bag. In this bag, you should have paper towels, cotton balls and cotton swabs, a water container, you should have your massage cream, cuticle oil, acetone, alcohol, red nail polish, base coat, and your top coat. Throw the bag in the trash and disinfect your hands. We should also have our cuticle softener, nail buffer, nail brush, orange wood sticks, and emery boards. The bag in the trash, disinfect your hands. We should also have our manicure bowl, our practice hand, and one clean towel. And the bag in the trash. We will disinfect our hands. And that is how you set up. You will perform a manicure and polish application. Like any other service, you will be expected to follow all client protection, safety, and infection procedures. You will have 20 minutes to complete this section at State Board. We will begin by disinfecting our hands and disinfecting your model's hand with alcohol. We are going to file the free edges . So we will file all the free edges from all of our fingernails. Once we have finished, we can toss it in the trash. Disinfect our hands. And we are going to put water in our manicure bowl. We are going to immerse all fingernails inside the manicure bowl. And make sure every fingernail touches the water. We are going to take it out, dry all her fingernails. We are going to apply cuticle remover. either with cuticle remover or cuticle softener. Make sure that the bottle does not touch the fingers. We are going to go ahead and push the cuticle back with the orange wet stick. And we are also going to go ahead and clean under the free edge, so clean under the nail. So now we are going to go ahead and brush the nails to remove the product. We are going to dry the fingernails, and we can go ahead and toss the brush in the soil. Disinfect your hands. And now we are going to go ahead and buff each nail. Once we have finished buffing every single nail, we are going to go ahead and toss the file in the trash, or the buffer in the trash. Disinfect your hands, and now we can go ahead and apply cuticle oil. Make sure that the bottle does not touch the fingers. Now we can go ahead and apply massage cream. We will apply massage cream on all of the hand. And we are going to perform at least 2 different types of massage movements. We are going to go ahead and massage on the fingers. On top of the hand. And the palm of the hand. Once we have finished our massage, we are going to go ahead and grab a cotton ball. And we are going to go ahead and clean each nail with alcohol. We're cleaning it to remove all the oils from the nails. Toss the cotton ball in the trash, disinfect our hands. And now we are going to go ahead and apply base coat. The base coat should be applied from one stroke in the center, side and side. And that's going to be on each fingernail. Once we have finished, we will then apply the red nail polish. The red nail polish will also be applied the same way. A thin layer and through the center, side and side. That will be done in every single fingernail. It will be applied once again. One thin layer in the center, side and side. Once we have applied red nail polish on every single fingernail, we are going to go ahead and apply top coat. The top coat will also be applied the same way. Center, side, side, and that'll also be a thin layer. They will be checking the final appearance of the polish, and it has to be smooth and even. The nail plate is entirely covered with the red nail polish, and the cuticle and surrounding skin are free of polish and also free of injury. Once you have finished, you turn the hand toward the examiner, and that indicates you have finished. We have finished our manicure section of this examination. Now we will have 5 minutes at the end of the examination to remove nail polish and to get rid of everything on our station. We are going to go ahead and begin by disinfecting our hands, turning our hand around, and removing nail polish. We will be removing it with cotton balls and acetone. Every time we toss something in the trash, we will disinfect our hands. And remember, we only do have 5 minutes, so the acetone that we can be using could be pure acetone. And if it's staining the hand, make sure that you have extra cotton balls to be able to remove the nail polish. Once we have finished removing the nail polish from the hands, we will put her to the side and we will start removing everything from our station. The bottles in soil, because you can disinfect and reuse. Nail polishes also in soil. Disinfect your hands every time you throw something out. The cotton, the emery boards, and orange wood sticks in trash. Disinfect your hands. And you can throw the water bottle, the protective cream, and the first aid kit also in soil. Disinfect your hands. And you can go ahead and use the paper towels to absorb all the water from the manicure bowl. Once we have absorbed it all, the towels are going to go in trash, manicure bowl in soil. Disinfect your hands. Remove the station towel and the towel that you use to clean the hand. Put them in linen. Disinfect your hands. Now you can go ahead and spray the citrus. And you can use a paper towel to clean the area. Disinfect your hands, and this is the end of this examination. So as you can see, we have removed the nail polish and we have broken down our station.